All right, strap in everyone because this deep dive is going to be a wild ride. We're diving headfirst into the world of Kaspa. That project that's making some bold claims about shaking up blockchain as we know it.
And you're in the right place to find out if it can actually back it up.
So we've all heard the buzzwords, right? Blockchain, cryptocurrency. It can feel like everyone's throwing them around these days.
Yeah.
But what does it all actually mean? And maybe even more importantly, what makes Kaspa different? What sets it apart from all the other crypto projects out there?
That's exactly what we're here to uncover today, to really get under the hood and see what makes Kaspa tick.
I'm ready to pop the hood. Let's do it.
The thing is, Kaspa isn't just trying to be the next Bitcoin. It's not just another coin trying to be the shiniest in the pile.
Okay, so what is it trying to do?
It's tackling a fundamental problem that's been holding blockchain back, a problem that's kept it from really going mainstream.
Now you've got my attention. What's this big problem that Kaspa's trying to solve?
Imagine you're stuck in traffic. But it's not just any traffic jam. It's like you're on a single-lane road, and everyone's trying to squeeze through this one bottleneck at the same time.
Oof, that sounds stressful. I can practically feel the road rage building.
That's what it's like trying to use a traditional blockchain, like Bitcoin, for everyday transactions. It gets slow, it gets congested, and sometimes it's just completely jammed.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would be a problem, especially if we're talking about blockchain going mainstream. Nobody wants to wait forever for a payment to go through.
Exactly. Now, Bitcoin and many other blockchains rely on this idea of the longest chain.
All right, break that down for me. The longest chain. What's that all about?
It's actually a super secure system. Every single transaction has to be verified and then added to this one unbroken chain.
Okay, so far so good. It sounds pretty secure. But where does the traffic jam come in? You mentioned a bottleneck.
Well, here's the thing. Verifying all those transactions, making sure everything is legit, it takes time. It's like having a toll booth on that single-lane road we talked about.
I'm starting to see where this is going.
And unfortunately, Bitcoin can only process a limited number of transactions per second. We're talking about 3 to 7 max. That's really, really slow compared to something like Visa, which can handle thousands of transactions every single second.
Ah, okay, so even though this longest chain thing is super secure, it just can't keep up with the pace of the modern world, especially if we're talking about using cryptocurrency for everyday stuff.
You got it. And that's the fundamental problem Kaspa is trying to address.
So how does it work? How does Kaspa fix this? Does it just get rid of the longest chain entirely?
It's not about getting rid of it entirely, but rethinking how it works. Instead of a single lane road, imagine a network of roads all interconnected with multiple lanes.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Less traffic is always a good thing.
Exactly. This is where the directed acyclic graph, or DAY, comes in. It's at the heart of Kaspa's technology.
DAY. It sounds impressive. But you had to break that down for me. What is a DAG and how does it help?
Think of a family tree with branches going out in all directions. That's kind of what a DAG looks like. It's not just one straight line, it's a network. And in this structure, multiple blocks, which are basically groups of transactions, can be created and added to the network at the same time. They don't have to wait for one single chain to catch up.
So it's like we're opening up more lanes on our blockchain highway. That has to speed things up, right?
Exactly. And that's just the beginning.
Okay, but I have to ask, with transactions happening all over the place, in parallel, doesn't that increase the risk of errors or even fraud? It seems like it would be easier for things to slip through the cracks.
That's a great question and a really important one. And this is where Kaspa gets even more interesting. It uses something called the Phantom Ghost DAG protocol.
Whoa, that's a mouthful, Phantom Ghost DAG protocol. You're going to have to break that one down for me, too.
It is a bit of a tongue twister,
Wow.
but think of it like a super smart traffic management system for our blockchain highway.
Okay, a traffic management system. I can get on board with that. So even though we've got all these transactions happening at the same time, this system keeps everything flowing smoothly.
Exactly. It makes sure everything stays organized and secure. You can tell the difference between good blocks representing legitimate transactions and any potentially bad ones, the ones that might be trying to game the system.
So it's like having a built-in security system that can spot a suspicious vehicle trying to merge onto the highway.
Exactly. And the ghost tag part of the name that refers to how incredibly efficient this system is. It can handle a huge amount of traffic without slowing things down. It makes sure the whole network stays fast and secure, even as it grows.
This is already sounding like a completely different way of thinking about blockchain. No more waiting ages for a transaction to be confirmed. No more worrying about security risks. It almost sounds too good to be true.
It's definitely a game changer, but as with any new technology, it's important to look at both the amazing potential benefits and the challenges it faces.
And in the spirit of a true deep dive, let's explore those, starting with the benefits. What are the key advantages that Kaspa's approach brings to the table? I'm ready to hear the good stuff. I laid on me. What's the bottom line for the average user? Let's say I'm just trying to use Kaspa for everyday stuff. What difference am I going to actually see?
You're all about the practicalities, I like it. For you, it comes down to three key things: speed, scalability, and security.
Okay, now those are some benefits I can get behind: speed, scalability, and security. Let's start with speed, because that's what got me really interested in Kaspa. We touched on it before, but just how much faster are we talking about here? Give me the numbers.
Well, you remember how we talked about Bitcoin being limited to around 3 to 7 transactions every second? Kind of like that old slow car on a single-lane road?
Yeah, definitely not ideal for a global financial system.
Right. But with Kaspa, it's like hopping onto a highway with no speed limit. We're talking a capacity of over 40 transactions per second, maybe even more. That's a whole different ballgame.
Wow, okay. That's impressive. So does this mean I can finally say goodbye to those annoying transaction wait times?
You got it. Imagine buying your morning coffee with crypto and boom, just like that, the transaction is confirmed, instant gratification, just like swiping your credit card.
That's the dream, right?
Okay.
Seamless, instant payments. But hold on, I have to ask about security, because that's a big one for a lot of people. With all this speed, we don't want to be sacrificing safety. Right?
Absolutely not. Security is non-negotiable. And this is where the DAG structure really shines. You see, in a traditional blockchain, if one part of the chain is compromised, it can put the whole system at risk.
So it's like a single point of failure, right?
Exactly. But with Kaspa's DAG, it's like having multiple backups, multiple redundancies built in. Even if one part of the network were to be compromised, which is unlikely, the rest can keep running without missing a beat.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. So even if someone tries to mess with the system, it's not going to bring everything crashing down.
Exactly. The system is designed to be incredibly resilient, and that's a huge advantage of the DAG structure.
Okay, so we've got the speed, we've got the security, but how does Kaspa actually guarantee that only the legitimate transactions go through? With all these transactions happening in parallel, how do we know someone's not trying to pull a fast one?
Remember that phantom ghost DAG protocol we talked about earlier? That's where the magic happens.
Yes, the tongue twister.
It's constantly monitoring the network like a super vigilant security guard.
Yeah.
It can tell the difference between those good blocks with legitimate transactions and any potential bad actors that might be trying to introduce false information.
So it's like having a really good bouncer at the club, making sure only the right people get in.
Exactly. It's all about maintaining the integrity of the network, even with all this parallel processing going on. And that's why Kaspa can offer both incredible speed and rock-solid security. It's the best of both worlds.
Okay, I'm liking what I'm hearing. Speed, security. You mentioned one more advantage. What was it again?
Yeah. Scalability. Kaspa is built to grow. As more and more people start using it, the network can handle the increased load without breaking a sweat. No bottlenecks here.
So no matter how popular Kaspa gets, it won't slow down to a crawl. That's a game changer, because we've seen other cryptocurrencies struggle with that as they've become more popular.
Exactly. Kaspa is designed to handle the demands of a truly global user base. That's the goal, mass adoption, but without sacrificing speed or security.
This is all starting to sound pretty amazing, almost too good to be true. But let's be real for a second. Kaspa isn't the only player in the game, right? There are a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there, each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
You're absolutely right. The crypto landscape is constantly evolving with new projects popping up all the time. It's a dynamic space.
So how does Kaspa measure up against the competition? All right, let's get ready to rumble. It's time to throw Kaspa into the ring and see how it stacks up against the heavy hitters in the crypto world.
It's time for the ultimate crypto showdown.
Exactly. And of course, we have to start with the OG, the one that started it all, Bitcoin. How does this newcomer, Kaspa, compare to the original cryptocurrency?
Well, you know, Bitcoin's the pioneer, the gold standard. It's got that rock-solid foundation of security and decentralization. But like we talked about earlier, its scalability has always been its Achilles heel.
That infamous single-lane road, struggling to handle all the traffic.
Precisely. And that's where Kaspa takes a totally different approach. With its DAG structure, it's like switching to a multi-lane highway with no speed limit. We're talking 40-plus transactions per second, easy, compared to Bitcoin's, 3 to 7?
Yeah.
The difference is huge.
Yeah, night and day. For users who are used to, the speed of traditional payment systems, like swiping a credit card, Kaspa's going to feel a lot more familiar, a lot more user-friendly.
Exactly. Now, let's not forget about Ethereum, another major player in the crypto space. They've been making big moves with their smart contract capabilities. And of course, the whole shift to a proof of stake model with Ethereum 2.0. So how does Kaspa stack up in those areas?
Yeah, Ethereum's a whole different animal. It's not just about transactions anymore. It's about building decentralized applications, even entire ecosystems on top of the blockchain.
You're right, and that's something Kaspa is working towards as well. Right now, their focus is on making those payments as fast and as secure as possible, creating that seamless transaction experience. But they've got plans to incorporate smart contracts down the road, and they're looking at ways to improve interoperability.
So it's not about copying Ethereum. It's about carving out their own path, starting with what they do best and then expanding from there.
Exactly. Now, we've talked about the big players, but there's a whole world of DAG-based projects out there, like IOTA and Nano. How does Caspa fit in with its DAG cousins?
It's like a DAG family reunion. What makes Kaspa stand out from the rest of the family?
Well, they all share that same fundamental DAG DNA, but Caspa's been putting in the work. It's been hitting the gym, you could say. The Phantom Ghost DAG protocol gives it a more robust, more secure structure compared to some of its counterparts. It's really upped the security game.
So in the world of DAG-based cryptocurrencies, Kaspa's like the overachiever.
In a way, yes, but it's important to remember it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? Like any new technology, Caspa's got its own set of challenges.
And what are those challenges? What are the hurdles Kaspa needs to clear to really reach its full potential?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles for any cryptocurrency is adoption. It's one thing to have amazing technology, but you got to get people to actually use it.
Right. It's that old, if you build it, will they come dilemma.
Right.
It's not enough just to exist. You have to convince people that your solution is the best.
Exactly. Caspa needs to attract developers, the people who are going to build those must-have apps, those killer applications. That's what brings in the users.
It's about building a community around the tech, creating a whole ecosystem.
You got it. And we can't forget about the competition. The crypto world is constantly evolving. New
Yeah.
projects are popping up every day. Caspa has to stay ahead of the curve, always innovating, always improving, to stay relevant in such a dynamic space.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the nitty-gritty technical details of how Caspa actually works to the broader implications it could have for the future of blockchain as a whole.
It's been a wild ride, but it feels like we're just scratching the surface here. There's so much potential with this technology.
Exactly. Imagine a world where transactions are basically instant, super secure, and incredibly affordable. No matter where you are or how much you're sending, it could change everything.
A world where the traditional financial systems, the ones that are often slow, expensive, and exclusive, they can become more efficient, more transparent, more open to everyone.
That's the promise that Caspa and other projects like it represent. It's a future where blockchain technology becomes so seamlessly integrated into our daily lives that we don't even think about it anymore. It just works.
And that's a future I'm excited to see unfold. For our listeners, remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand these emerging technologies, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the changes that are coming. And trust me, things are about to get really interesting. That wraps up another deep dive. Keep those questions coming, and most importantly, never stop exploring. Until next time.